Assalamu alaikum students. How are you all? Hope you all are fit and fine in your homes with the grace of Almighty Allah. So in the last session we had learned about climate of Africa and important features of Africa. Today in this session we are going to learn about the Africa people and the African coast and the slave trade. Now the people of Africa. People with different languages, lifestyles, and habits live in different regions of Africa. Since ancient times, people have lived in small tribes and hunting and gathering, animal husbandry, and agriculture. Hunters of Africa have habituated to equatorial region, and the deserts and sheep herding farmers are habituated to high plateaus and savannas for grazing their animals on the extensive grasslands. And agriculture is done on the river banks besides the river and the sea coast. There are several cities on the sea coast where traders from different countries come to trade. For a long time, people of other countries does not know about Africa much. Europeans were familiar only with the northern coast of Africa, while the Indians and Arab traders know about the eastern coast of Africa. Neither the Europeans nor the Indians or Arab traders had much knowledge about the interior part of Africa. About 500 years ago, Europeans began their attempt to reach India by the sea route by going around Africa. Hoping to reach India, they will start sailing from Europe and stop over on the islands of Saint Madeira and Azores. They thought that it would be so hot further south that the sea would be boiling. Then, in 1498, a Portuguese sailor named Vasco da Gama. He went around the southern tip of Africa and reached India. After that, many Europeans tried to go inland of Africa and tried to establish their rule over them and tried to enslave the people of Africa. As I told you, in 16th century, many Europeans began migrating to America and started cultivating there. There were plenty of land to cultivate in America, but there were no much people to cultivate fields. To cultivate their fields and to do their domestic works, they enslaved people of Africa. The tribal leaders of Africa sold the people to Europeans for guns, iron objects, liquor, and for clothes at the coastal areas of Africa. The ships were filled with slaves. There were no proper arrangement of food and medicines. In those days, it took several days to reach America. Many slaves died due to illness and lack of food. Even in America, inhuman treatment was done with the slaves. Despite of working as a slave for them, there were no proper food or living quarters for the slaves. In this manner, millions of Africans were enslaved and taken to North and South America and to nearby islands. Lakhs of people died after they were made slaves. After in the 16th and 17th century, number of companies were engaged in the slave trade. Eventually, the slave trade ended in the 19th century, and the slaves who were exported declared free citizens in Africa in 1860. Now, European colonies. Here, colonies means not streets. Colonies means the country that is enslaved or ruled by the European country are called European colonies. If the country is ruled by other countries, that will be called as American country or Asian colonies or American colonies, etc. So, as the time changes, the Dutch, the English people, the French, and the Germans enslaved the interior part of Africa and colonized these areas slowly and exported African timber, coffee, minerals, gold, diamonds, and copper to Europe. As you can see on the map, the large parts of Africa is colonized by France and Britain. Okay students, so this is about the people of Africa, slave trade and European colonies. Allah Hafiz.